Alright, hey guys, how's everyone doing? My name is Ton. It's pronounced like wonton, the food, except without the won, the first part. um, I'm an engineering student for a university. I'm graduating soon, but pretty much these tutorials are my way of giving back to the community for helping me all these years. I wanted to follow a path of web programming and programming in general. And without the community, I would never have gotten this far. Um, I was able to learn things like JavaScript, HTML, Python, things like that through resources like Code Academy, YouTube, and W3 schools. So many resources that helped me get where I am today. And I want to show my respect and try to help people, newcomers, that don't even know programming, like I didn't even know. And I want to show them how far they can get just by uh, learning online and pursuing it with passion. Uh, it even just doing it by myself, I was able to get a job in web programming. So take my word for it. You don't really need formal classes. Those will help you. Sometimes there's experiences you can't get by just learning by your own, but the fundamentals and the ability to get a career that you can get by just really just showing drive and pushing towards what you want to do in life. And if what you want to do is programming, then this video will help. But yeah, as a fellow peer, I hope, and a new student, I hope that I could help you guys in ways that others can't. I kind of know that some videos were confusing that I saw, and I hope this one is not one of those ones, but it might, because I'm not usually a teacher. But yeah, let's get into it. What we're going to be learning for the next couple weeks is a programming language called JavaScript. JavaScript is the language of the web, pretty much. When you make a website, you do usually two things, or three things in steps. The first step is the HTML, the hypertext markup language, meaning it's the foundation of the website. It provides the tags, the uh, the way everything is divided, the words that don't change, the title, things like that. It lays the groundwork for the website. And then step two, you do the CSS, the cascading style sheets, meaning style sheets control the margins, how things how things have spacing. It lets you provide a theme for your website, so it looks all uniform, looks nice. And then step three, you use JavaScript. What JavaScript is, I misspelled it there. But what JavaScript does is let a website be dynamic and responsive. And what do I mean by that? Let's take a few examples here. An example of JavaScript is a hover. This button will light up if I hover over it. And the way it does this is it lets you program scripts. Scripts are a series of instructions, like a recipe for cooking. It's telling me, this example of this is, the script is telling me if I hover over this area of a button, then light up and show them that you're hovering over it. Pretty much it's helping the user interact with the website, make it less boring, make it really super cool. You can see here, if I exit out this thing, it just disappears without loading another page. It pretty much it lets you do a lot of things in one page without having to click this and go here. JavaScript lets you do a lot just from this page you're on. Let's look at another example. This is IGN, a website I usually go to. Let's reload this, and you'll see there's this cool slider which wouldn't be available without JavaScript. And let's see if I just click here. It's talking about a recipe. The recipe is, instructions would be if I click this, then stay here and don't continue sliding. Things like that. Um, JavaScript is a really coveted skill. If you know JavaScript, you're already a huge commodity for companies. Um, JavaScript is like HTML, CSS. They're considered front end, a front end group, meaning it's what the users interact with, what they see. And when people talk about backend in programming, they mean like working with a database, meaning saving your registration information, doing calculations that otherwise wouldn't be available on the front end. But yeah, let's get into it. Just to cap off, you won't need to know a lot of HTML for these tutorials. It actually would help a lot if you did, but I'll provide some links at the bottom that I use to learn HTML, and you maybe just review the basics like tags and how to lay out your web page, things like that. But other than that, if there's a HTML concept that I need to cover, I'll cover it really quick before we go into the JavaScript. But yeah, first off, you're going to need a text editor. This one I use is called Sublime, right here. It allows me to, let's open it up here. Let's see if I just type anything up, it's going to show up on the top right here. It's a nice thing, and if the code page is long, it'll let me just click through easily and find stuff. You can even use a text editor like Notepad++ if you want. Any text editor will do. Even Notepad for the pre-installed one for Windows. But I wouldn't recommend that just because it's not going to give you line numbers like Sublime here, which are really helpful when when something doesn't work, and it'll tell you which line the problem's on. This really is a useful, very incredibly useful function here. Alright, let's get started. Let's open up your Sublime. You're going to want to we're going to create our first web page and display it onto the browser. I'm going to show you how to open your web page up in the browser. You're going to want to start off with HTML tags here. Right, and these in HTML, you want to always enclose your web page in HTML tags. Tells the browser you're about to use HTML, and it'll know how to read your web page. Just the protocols. And what this is a starting tag. It's how HTML works. HTML works in tags, which is just a words enclosed in angular brackets. And when you start a tag like this, you usually want to end it. The difference between the ending and closing the closing and the beginning tag is that the closing tag has the slash here. But yeah, and then another important element in HTML is the head. Within these two tags is where you put your title. Title is what usually ends up in the browser tabs, like right here, Sublime Text download / download, or hyphen download. So let's just put first page as our title, and other things like styles go here usually. This is where you put your CSS. This is where we're going to put our JavaScript, which is what I'm going to be teaching you. It's where you put your meta tags, which shows other things what the browser is going to read from your web page, and how it'll help Google find your page. But yeah, we'll cover a bit of that later as we go along. But the important thing here is let's get our body tag set up. Your body tag is where you're going to put all pretty much the content of your page. So pretty much starting from this line here all the way down. This is where everything's going to show in your body. So this is where we're going to put our content. When you write text, paragraph text in a web page, you usually use p tags, which is paragraph, stands for paragraph. Let's put something simple like, and if you're new to programming, what I use tab to indent my code. How programming languages usually work is it's called white space condensing. So all this empty gray space here is I can have all my code all the way over here, and the computer will read it the same way pretty much. It's more for the user, the programmer, in helping them organize their information. But alright, let's get our p tags ready. Let's just put hello world. It's usually the first program you write is usually hello world. And yeah. And another cool thing, if you're using Sublime, you can go view here, syntax, and then HTML. This will color code your tags and your information. This is really helpful when you have other tags like div or whatever, and then it'll change the color of everything so it's easier on the eye. But yeah, what you're going to want to do when you're finished here, let's see our web page in action. Go save as. You're going to want to save this as an HTML page, so make sure it says HTML here, .html. And just to be sure, we can do it here. We can do first page .html. Yeah, it has to have a .html extension, or else the browser is not going to know that it's a web page. But yeah, now you have your file here, your browser, your HTML page. I'm sorry. If you're using Mozilla Firefox or Internet Explorer as your primary browsers, you'll see those icons here instead of Google Chrome. But it should be all the same. Just click it, double click it, and there you go. Hello world, your first web page. Congrats. As you can see in the browser here, it shows you how the browser was able to find your file. It's pretty much just your C drive, and then it goes to users, and then to your desktop, and the first page, and .html. And that's it for this tutorial. Hope it helped somewhat. I apologize, it's one of my first times teaching, but I hope that because I'm a student and I learn this way myself, I can convey and condense the information in an easy to understand manner. Yeah, I'll see you next time when we actually start the actual JavaScript. Alright, have a good day.